Hey all, back with another war video. Vox is returning, and this time we also have Blade. Both of them are just really great with this tactic. You saw last war how good Vox is at getting clarity up quickly. Blade is as well, especially if you can bring a synergy to expand danger sense beyond dimensional beings. But even if you can't, just being able to basically do exactly what you see here, even though Chavez is not tactic, and so we don't need to worry about getting clarity. You see how quickly we get it, right? Short combos, and even if we couldn't hit her at all, just gaining power, having that really good heavy reach, and then being able to throw the special 2 with a bunch of hits in it means that we can just very quickly stack clarity. Like you saw, we were up to 3 stacks there. Plus, the special 2 does a bunch of damage and isn't necessarily generating as much power here as it normally would because of the debuff immunity. But where you can bleed the opponent, it's basically power backs plus. You're getting power back from the actual hits and more from being close to a bleeding opponent during the sword swirl. Blade's just really, really synergistic with this. We move back to Vox here for Darkhawk, who's, as we said, just going to be really good at getting clarity up. I felt that I was slow on that first one. Only one hit felt appropriate, but then we were a little quicker. Now we've got clarity. We're just going to hold on to this. I forget if I go to the special 2 for the Vigilance or not. Looks like I am, yeah. Because that way we can safely push Darkhawk to his special 2 and not have to worry about the miss. You also probably don't need to worry at all for a path fight like this with class advantage. Vox is just going to cook right through it regardless. We don't have to worry about the auto block because clarity. And before that Fury comes back, I was planning to throw the special 1 to convert the degens back to our intensifies. But funnily enough, just as I was narrating back over it, I didn't realize the fight was going to end before that. So yeah, plenty of damage there. That was a lot of degen. We move on here to 1B with Green Goblin. This is a very strong placement because his regen from just hitting him does trigger the reinvigorated node, and so when that happens 10 times, he goes unblockable. His specials are very difficult. I don't think the special 1 dex is actually possible with a normal dex animation, and it's difficult to push to the special 2 if you can't block his basics. But Blade can actually turn off basically everything that he does to go unblockable. And when you only need to hit him a couple times outside of specials and barely need to bait any specials to kill him, then there's not really a whole lot of threat there. So that was a very, very simple fight. This one is a lot less simple. This is a good placement, especially with the bans a lot of people are doing right now, which tends to include Null. Makes Shuri a lot harder. But what we're doing here is we're reparrying to get power from the bleeds and to limit our block damage, honestly. We're not really worrying about the regen with Shuri here. I shouldn't have landed that medium. That was a mistake, I'm not going to lie. But if we had been parried, the fact that we had so much power probably would have saved us before we got punished. But you still shouldn't deal with that. But as I was saying, we're not too worried about triggering buffet because we know that we are staying on top of this enough to stay ahead of that, right? She needs to get to 10 regen triggers to go unblockable, and that's when we start getting scared. We're at 7 right now, and she's below 20% health. Like, this is starting to get a little bit close, right? There are some risks to this fight, but that's why we big boost. We're now up to 8. I'm going to use the Striker here, I believe. Yep, there it is. Because Strikers cannot miss, public service announcement for those who don't know that, and that did enough damage we were able to just finish her off without having to get back to that last special 2. So not the first counter I would pick in an ideal world, but certainly good enough. We move on to Mysterio here. Same basic idea as the Mysterio placement we took last war. Vox with that vigilance and his power drain immunity basically just turns off everything Mysterio does. So we are going to run to the special 2 after being careful getting clarity up. Clearly not careful enough. I should have stuck to a light medium there. We do get rooted, not ideal, but now we have clarity up. Now we can run to the special 2. You see we go ahead and throw it. We don't have to worry about pushing him to his special 2. We can just keep being aggro, take advantage of Power Focus 2 to not worry about going red. That helps us keep the root off. We're going to go ahead and throw this to convert our degens back into intensifies. Because this step of the process doesn't use up any buffs, we keep our vigilance, and we are just going to run right back up to the special 2. Not that it matters, because Mysterio will be dead before we get there. Little bit of block damage because Bubble Shield does mess with our block proficiency, and Mysterio has Block Pen in his kit natively, but that's okay. Vox is still a very, very hard counter. We move on to Spot here, for whom, honestly, it would be ideal to have Stark Enhanced Spider-Man improving Danger Sense further, but that's okay. You don't need it, right? As long as we stay on top of things. I believe I do have, what is this, a read pre-fight? We'll see in a second. No. What pre-fight did I have helping me? Oh, you know what? I might have had a read pre-fight and then turned it off with Danger Sense. That can happen. Oh well. Anyway, you can see we are getting some debuffs on us. The block damage is real because of Aggression Prowess. We expected all of this. Danger Sense without Stark Enhanced Spider-Man is only a 40% ability accuracy reduction. It's not flat. All of this is expected, right? I hit in there and make sure to put the spots on cooldown, and then the special 2 finishes things off. Notice we did regen a bit there. I have said before, I'm not particularly enthused about how many times I've pulled Blade as a 7-star because I don't think his SIG is that important. I think people are getting a little too twisted about the high SIG thing. But in that fight in particular, I'm glad we weren't losing as much power while we were blocking to heal. So that part was nice. Now we have Prowler. This is a smaller, weaker version of the boss that we took last war, right? I clearly was not on my A game here. I don't know why I was hitting into this auto block. I was definitely getting lucky. I said this in the last video. Okay, I really need to get on that. I practiced the heavy counter and just wasn't doing it in this video and got lucky a couple times. So don't do that, kids, when replicating this. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. Anyway, we go ahead and throw the special 2, and we are good to go. It also, of course, goes without saying, I could have just power started for this, and then when you open with the special 1, you don't have to worry about the tactic because of the undermine. It's fine. Yeah. Like I said, you can also just know the heavy counter because power start boosts are pretty precious in this tactic. It has been very hungry for them. Anyway, once we get stuff online, total hard counter for Prowler. He can't power drain after our specials, so he can't build any power creep charges. Can't go unblockable. We ignore the falter from the node. We ignore the falter from punishing his specials. We don't even care that we lost, I think it was 14 degens earlier, cutting into our intensifies. None of that matters. We just need to keep Prowler throwing specials, or not. We can just go aggro. I had the Striker there to extend if I needed it. I could have gone into another special 2 after it. Very safe fight. Now, this one here is an interesting boss placement. Obviously, Venom was out of the equation, or we would have done that. We could have gone Blade, because he does build Clarity quickly, and he does have class disadvantage. But the thing to remember about Spider-Ham is that Spider Nonsense reduces special damage. Most of Blade's damage is during specials. And he uses the special too, so you can't really avoid Spider Nonsense building. So I didn't really like that. I decided I preferred Vox. I can use the special 2, or sorry, I can use the special 3, which remember deals, I believe it deals true damage, and so gets around the resistance from adaptive. You just have to wait for Spider Nonsense to reset back to 0, so that you can get around that part. I can also deal degens, right? I can have them do extra damage as long as the Spider Nonsense is relatively low while they're on. They can get down to 0 if I'm not careful with that, which, spoiler alert, you will see later on in this fight. But generally, this is just a character with decent crits, with high attack, with several different ways of dealing damage, slowly cutting through a boss whose threats they are turning off for the most part. I definitely don't want to deal with the special 2, especially while it's unblockable. But that's okay. Do I throw this here? No, I think I'm going for the special 3 this time, which means that I am going to wait for Spider Nonsense to get up to 10, expire. I'm baiting out this special one. I think that's going to cost me because, yep, Spider Nonsense ticks back up to 3, which is going to cost me 15% of my special 3 damage here. That's okay. We'll still do a chunk. I believe I'm running power back, so we get some back from that. Not a lot. But we also still have 3 minutes, right? Spider-Ham's special 3 animation takes a while, so I'd prefer to avoid that again. Like, we are winning the HP race. I'm not really worried about timing out, but that also wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. We throw the special 1 here because I noticed I had a lot of buffs. Instantly go, oops! I forgot about the degen resist, and so I am going to get those degens back with another special 1 without letting them cook because they were doing a hard 0 damage. So lost a few buffs there. That wasn't smart. But that reminds me, God, his heavy is the worst. But that does remind me that as long as I wait for Spider Nonsense to drop again, then I am going to be able to do quite a bit of degen damage, and so that is now my strategy. I wait for it to go to 10 again, hit into his block. Man, he loves that heavy. Stay really open to bait. And boom, we apply 50 degens at 0. That's really going to start to tick down. I would love for him to throw that special. There we go. I believe I used the striker here to extend things, and it doesn't even matter. So as you can see, we did a ton of damage with just one well-placed special 1 at the end there. If I took this again, that would be my focus from the beginning. Very good counter to the fight. And just a great team for this tactic overall. I really enjoyed this war. Hope you guys learned something, enjoyed seeing Blade and Vox. And until next time, thanks so much for watching, and take care.